The snow fell like frozen tears against the windows of Memorial Hospital's East Wing. It was Christmas Eve, and while the world sparkled with lights and laughter, Amara Williams, a 6-month pregnant black janitor, pushed her cleaning cart down the empty corridor with aching feet and a heart full of hope. She had worked a double shift, her back screaming in protest, her swollen ankles throbbing with every step. But none of that mattered. Tonight she would finally go home to her husband, Marcus. Tonight they would celebrate their first Christmas as an almost complete family. She smiled down at the gentle curve of her belly, imagining Marcus's face when she showed him the tiny Christmas stocking she had hidden in her locker. She had saved for weeks to buy it, skipping lunches, walking instead of taking the bus. It was red and soft with Baby Williams embroidered in gold thread. But when Amara pushed open the door to their small apartment in the Bronx, arms full of grocery bags for Christmas dinner, her world shattered into 1,000 pieces. Her suitcases were lined up by the door like soldiers waiting to escort her out. Her clothes spilled across the floor. The framed photo of their wedding day, the one where Marcus had kissed her forehead and promised forever, lay face down on the coffee table, glass cracked down the middle. Marcus stood in the center of the room, arms crossed, face cold as winter stone. Behind him stood his mother, Patricia Williams, lips pursed in satisfaction, and his sister, Shanice, recording everything on her phone with a cruel smile. "Marcus?" Amara's voice came out small, confused. "Baby, what's going on?" "Don't you baby me," Marcus said, voice cutting through the warm apartment like a blade. "You think I'm stupid? You think I don't know?" Amara's grocery bag slipped from her hands. Apples rolled across the floor. "Know what? I don't understand. That baby," Patricia spat, pointing at Amara's stomach like it was something diseased. "That bastard child you're carrying isn't my son's." The room spun. Amara grabbed the doorframe to steady herself. "What? What are you talking about? Of course it's Marcus's baby. Marcus, tell them—" "I got the test results today," Marcus said flatly, pulling a folded paper from his pocket and throwing it at her feet. "DNA paternity test, prenatal. The baby you're carrying shares 0% of my DNA." Amara stared at the paper, unable to make her eyes focus. "That's impossible. That's impossible. Marcus, I've never been with anyone else. You're the only man I've ever—" "Liar," Shanice shouted, phone still recording. "We know about the hotel, 6 months ago. The business convention you said you were working overtime at the hospital for. We have receipts, Amara. Hotel receipts." Amara's mind raced back 6 months. She remembered that night clearly. The hospital had sent her and 3 other janitors to work an emergency overnight cleaning job at the Grand Regent Hotel after a medical conference. There had been a spill, a sanitation emergency. She had mopped floors until 4 a.m., then fallen asleep in a staff break room, exhausted. She remembered waking up on a couch in a strange room, still in her work uniform, head pounding, mouth dry. One of the other janitors, Keisha, had found her and helped her to the shuttle van. Amara had assumed she'd been so exhausted she'd passed out in the wrong break room. But now, looking at Marcus's face, at the hatred in his eyes, she realized something else had happened that night, something she couldn't remember. "I don't know what you're talking about," Amara whispered, tears streaming down her face. "Marcus, I swear to God I've never cheated on you. Never. That baby is yours. That test has to be wrong." "The test is never wrong," Patricia said coldly. "My son paid good money for the best lab in New York. You're carrying another man's child, and you will not bring that shame into this family." Amara dropped to her knees, hands clasped together, begging. "Please, please, Marcus, I love you. I don't know what happened, but I swear I didn't cheat. Please believe me. Please don't do this." "Get out," Marcus said, voice dead, emotionless. "Marcus, get out of my house." The neighbors would later say they heard her screaming. They would say they heard her sobbing, begging, swearing on everything holy, but no one came to help. Patricia grabbed Amara's suitcases and threw them into the hallway. Shanice laughed as she posted the video to social media with the caption, "Cheating wife exposed on Christmas Eve, karma sower by Felicia." And then the door slammed shut. Amara sat in the cold hallway, pregnant and shaking, listening to the sounds of Christmas music playing in other apartments. Families laughing, children squealing with joy. She pulled out her phone with trembling fingers. She needed help. She needed her best friend, Keisha, the only person who might understand. Through blurred vision and shaking hands, she typed out a long message. "Keisha, I don't know what to do. Marcus kicked me out. They did a DNA test and it says the baby isn't his. But I swear I never cheated. I don't understand what's happening." Something happened that night at the hotel 6 months ago. Something I can't remember. Please, I need help. I'm on the street. It's Christmas Eve and I have nowhere to go. Please call me. She attached a video, her face swollen with tears, voice breaking as she tried to explain everything. She hit send without checking the number. She didn't realize until it was too late that in her devastation, she had sent the message to the wrong contact. The message didn't go to Keisha. It went to a number listed only as Kay Lee Hotel Emergency Contact from 6 months ago. Before we continue, don't forget to like, subscribe to Aurora Love Saga, and share. Across the city, in a penthouse overlooking Central Park, Kang Ji-hoon sat alone in his office, the floor-to-ceiling windows revealing a snow-covered Manhattan that glittered like a kingdom at his feet. At 32, he was the youngest and most feared Korean Mafia boss on the East Coast. His name made seasoned criminals nervous. His organization controlled everything from the docks to the Diamond District. But tonight, he sat in silence, whiskey untouched on his desk, staring at the city lights. His phone buzzed. An unknown number, a long message, a video attachment. He almost deleted it. Desperate women sent him messages all the time, trying to climb into his world, his bed, his bank account. But something made him open it. The text poured out first. Broken, desperate words about betrayal, a DNA test, a husband who turned cold, a family that called her unborn child a bastard. Then the video played. A woman, beautiful even through swollen eyes and tears, sat on a suitcase in a dingy apartment hallway. Her work uniform identified her as hospital staff. Her hands cradled a 6-month pregnant belly. Her voice cracked as she spoke directly to the camera, begging someone named Keisha for help, explaining a hotel night 6 months ago she couldn't remember. She was deep brown-skinned, with natural hair pulled back in a worn ponytail and eyes that held a devastating mix of confusion and heartbreak. And Ji-hoon knew that face. 6 months ago, after a particularly bloody territory negotiation at the Grand Regent Hotel, his right-hand man, Min Seo, had arranged for entertainment to be sent to his suite as celebration. Ji-hoon had been annoyed. He didn't need women delivered like room service. But when he'd walked into his suite, she was already there. A woman in a hotel uniform, sitting on his couch, looking dazed and confused. He'd assumed she was playing a role, that this was part of whatever Min Seo had arranged. She'd looked at him with unfocused eyes and said something he couldn't quite remember now. Something about being in the wrong room. He'd poured her water, told her to rest. He'd gone to the bedroom to make a call, and when he'd returned 30 minutes later, she was gone. The glass of water sat untouched. The door was slightly open. He'd thought nothing of it. Just another strange night in a strange city. But now, looking at this woman crying in a hallway, carrying a child, claiming she couldn't remember a hotel night 6 months ago. Ji-hoon's fingers tightened around his phone until the screen cracked slightly. He stood abruptly, his chair rolling back with a sharp scrape across the marble floor. "Min Seo," he said into his phone, voice deadly calm. His right-hand man answered immediately. "Yes, Hyung-nim. 6 months ago. The Grand Regent. The woman you sent to my suite. Find out everything. Every detail. Who arranged it. How she got there. What room she was supposed to be in." A pause. "Hyung-nim, is something wrong?" "Everything is wrong," Ji-hoon said quietly. The kind of quiet that made grown men fear for their lives. "And someone is about to pay for it." He looked at the message again, at the video of the woman crying in the snow, homeless and pregnant on Christmas Eve. Trace this number. Find her location. I want her here within the hour. Understood. Ji-hoon grabbed his coat, already heading for the door. The woman who had vanished from his life 6 months ago, the woman whose face had haunted the edges of his memory on sleepless nights, was about to walk straight back into his world, pregnant, heartbroken, and completely unaware that the wrong number she'd texted belonged to the most dangerous man in New York. And Kang Ji-hoon did not let go of what was his. She sat on her suitcase in the building's lobby, security guard giving her sympathetic looks but not offering help. Her phone screen stayed dark. No response from Keisha. The cold from the marble floor seeped through her thin coat. She should call a shelter. She should call her sister in Atlanta. She should do something. But all she could do was sit there, hands on her belly, whispering to her baby, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Mama doesn't know what happened, but I promise I'll figure it out. I promise I'll keep you safe." A black SUV pulled up outside the building's glass doors, sleek, expensive, with tinted windows that reflected the Christmas lights strung across the lobby. Amara didn't notice at first, not until the doors opened and 3 men in black suits stepped out, moving with military precision. The security guard straightened immediately, suddenly nervous. The lead man, tall, broad-shouldered, with a scar across his eyebrow, walked straight to Amara. He stopped in front of her and bowed slightly. "Miss Williams." Amara looked up, confused and frightened. Yes? "Please come with us." "What? Who are you?" "Someone who wants to help you." "I don't understand." The man's expression softened slightly. "Ma'am, it's Christmas Eve. It's freezing, you're pregnant, and you send a message to someone who wants to make sure you're safe. Please, the car is warm." Every instinct screamed at Amara to run. Don't get in a stranger's car. Don't trust men in black suits. Don't. But another sob broke free instead. She was so tired, so cold, so broken. The man didn't wait for permission. He gently took her arm, helped her to her feet, and guided her toward the SUV. Another man grabbed her suitcases. The security guard watched, said nothing. Amara climbed into the back seat. The leather was warm, heated seats immediately soothing her frozen body. The door closed with a soft, expensive thud, and then she saw him. Sitting across from her in the spacious back seat was the most devastatingly handsome man she had ever seen. Tall, even sitting down, sharp cheekbones, dark eyes that seemed to see straight through her soul. Perfectly tailored black suit, an aura of controlled danger that made the air feel thinner. "You sent me a message," he said, voice low and calm with a slight accent. Amara blinked, tears still streaming. I think I sent it to the wrong person. I'm sorry, I meant to send it to my friend." "I know," he said, "but you sent it to me instead, and now I need you to tell me everything." "Who are you?" "My name is Kang Ji-hoon." He paused, watching her face for recognition. There was none. "6 months ago, you were at the Grand Regent Hotel, working a cleaning job." Amara's breath caught. "How do you know that?" "Because I was there too." His eyes darkened. "And I think someone did something terrible to you that night. Something you can't remember. Something that led to this." He gestured toward her belly. The world tilted. "I don't understand," Amara whispered. "Neither do I," Ji-hoon said quietly. "But I'm going to find out. And whoever did this to you, whoever set this up, is going to wish they'd never been born." The car pulled away from the curb, moving smoothly through the snowy streets, away from the building where her husband had thrown her out, away from the life that had just ended, towards something Amara couldn't yet name, something dangerous, something that might be her only chance at the truth. Yoon's penthouse was like something from a movie. Amara stood in the center of the massive living room, still clutching her coat around herself, unable to process what was happening. "Sit," Ji-hoon said gently, gesturing to a cream-colored sofa that probably cost more than she made in a year. She sat, perched on the edge, ready to run. He disappeared for a moment and returned with a tray. Hot tea, warm soup, fresh bread. He set it on the coffee table in front of her. "Eat," he said. "You need strength." "I don't understand why you're helping me," Amara said, voice trembling. Ji-hoon sat across from her, studying her face like he was trying to solve a puzzle. "6 months ago, a woman was in my hotel suite. She was confused, dazed. I thought she was part of something my associate had arranged. I gave her water and told her to rest. When I came back, she was gone." He leaned forward slightly. "I've never forgotten her face. And tonight, that same face sent me a message begging for help." Amara's hands shook as she lifted the teacup. "I don't remember any of that. I remember cleaning the hotel. I remember feeling dizzy. And then I woke up in a break room, still in my uniform, and Keisha, my coworker, was shaking me awake. Do you remember drinking anything that night? Eating anything?" Amara thought hard. There was a staff room. Someone had left coffee and donuts for the cleaning crew. I drank some coffee because I was exhausted. Ji-hoon's jaw tightened. "Someone drugged you." "But why? I'm nobody. I'm just a janitor." "You're not nobody," Ji-hoon said firmly, "and someone wanted you in my suite that night for a reason." He pulled out his phone and showed her a photo. "Do you recognize this man?" Amara looked at the screen. A middle-aged Korean man in an expensive suit smiling at the camera. "No," she said, "I've never seen him." "His name is Park Min-seo. He's my right-hand man. He arranged for a woman to be sent to my suite that night." Ji-hoon's voice turned ice cold. "But I don't think you were supposed to be that woman." Amara set down her teacup before she dropped it. "You think someone switched me? Put me there on purpose?" "I think someone drugged you, put you in my room, and waited for something to happen." He paused. "And I think someone has been watching you ever since, waiting for you to get pregnant, waiting to destroy your marriage." The room spun. Amara pressed both hands to her belly, protective instinct overwhelming everything else. "Who would do that? Why?" "That," Ji-hoon said, standing slowly, "is what I'm going to find out." A knock at the door interrupted them. Ji-hoon answered it, speaking in rapid Korean to someone in the hallway. A moment later, an elegant older woman entered, carrying a medical bag. "This is Dr. Kim," Ji-hoon said, "best obstetrician in the city. She's going to check on you and the baby." "I can't afford—" "You're not paying," Ji-hoon said simply. "I am." Dr. Kim was gentle, professional, and thorough. She performed an ultrasound right there in the penthouse, the portable machine displaying a perfect, healthy baby on the screen. "Strong heartbeat," Dr. Kim said warmly. "Good size. Everything looks perfect." Amara burst into tears, relief flooding through her. "Thank you. Thank you so much." When Dr. Kim finished and left, Ji-hoon returned with a soft blanket and draped it over Amara's shoulders. "There's a guest room down the hall," he said. "It's yours for as long as you need it." "I don't even know what to say," Amara whispered. "Say you'll let me help you find the truth." She looked up at him, this dangerous, beautiful stranger who had appeared out of nowhere, like an answer to a prayer she hadn't known how to pray. "Why?" she asked. "Why do you care?" Ji-hoon was silent for a long moment, then quietly, "Because 6 months ago, someone used you to get to me, and I protect what's mine. I'm not yours." His dark eyes held hers. "That baby might be." The words hung in the air between them. Amara's breath caught. "I think we need a DNA test," Ji-hoon said. "A real one, not whatever fabricated results your husband was given. And if the baby is yours, then you and that child will never want for anything again," he said simply. "And everyone who tried to destroy you will pay." Meanwhile, across the city, Min-seo stood in an abandoned warehouse, phone pressed to his ear, voice tight with fear. "She's with him," he hissed. "The woman from 6 months ago. Somehow she contacted him. This is all falling apart." On the other end of the line, a woman's voice responded, cold and calculating. "Then we move to phase 2. If we can't destroy her quietly, we'll destroy her publicly. And this time, we'll make sure she never gets back up." Mincio swallowed hard. And if he finds out the truth? He won't, the woman said. Not before we finish this. The line went dead. Mincio stared at his phone, then at the men standing behind him in the shadows. He'd made a deal with the devil 6 months ago, and now the devil was coming to collect. Mara woke in the most comfortable bed she'd ever slept in. For a brief, beautiful moment, she forgot everything. Then reality crashed back, and tears immediately filled her eyes. She climbed out of bed slowly, finding soft maternity clothes laid out on a chair, cream cashmere sweater, comfortable leggings, even new undergarments in her exact size. When she emerged from the bedroom, the smell of breakfast hit her. Fresh coffee, bacon, pancakes. Ji-hoon stood in the kitchen, cooking. He'd changed into dark jeans and a fitted black t-shirt that showed every line of lean muscle across his shoulders and arms. His hair was slightly damp, like he'd just showered. He looked up when she entered. "Good morning." "Morning," Amara said softly, still not quite believing this was real. He slid a plate across the marble island. "Eat. We have work to do today." She sat, suddenly ravenous. The food was delicious, restaurant quality. They ate in silence for a few minutes. Then Ji-hoon set down his fork. "I need to tell you something." Amara's stomach dropped. "What?" "Last night, while you were sleeping, my men finished investigating the Grand Regent." His voice was carefully controlled. "The coffee that was left in the staff room that night, it was specifically placed there with your name on a cup." Amara's fork clattered against her plate. "What?" "Someone knew you would be there, knew you would drink it, and the security footage from that night has been wiped from the hotel's system. But we recovered backup files from an off-site server." He pulled out a tablet and turned it toward her. On the screen was grainy footage of a hotel hallway. Amara watched herself stumbling, clearly disoriented, being guided by a woman in hotel staff uniform. The woman led her into a room, Ji-hoon's suite, and then disappeared. "I never left that break room," Amara whispered. "I thought I passed out there, but someone moved me." "Someone drugged you and deliberately put you in my bed," Ji-hoon said, voice turning dangerous. "And I want to know who." He zoomed in on the woman's face in the footage. Amara gasped, the blood draining from her face. "That's Keisha," she whispered. "That's my best friend." The betrayal hit Amara like a physical blow. She stood abruptly, chair scraping back, hands clutching her stomach as if she could protect herself and her baby from the truth. "No," she said. "No, that can't be right. Keisha wouldn't. She's my best friend. She's been my friend for 5 years. She was the one who found me that morning. She helped me." "She helped you because she put you there," Ji-hoon said quietly. "Look at the timestamp. She put you in my room at 11:47 p.m. The footage of her finding you in the break room is from 5:23 a.m. She came back, moved you again, and pretended to discover you." Amara sank back into her chair, the world tilting violently. "Why? Why would she do this to me?" "That's what we're going to find out." Ji-hoon made a call, speaking rapidly in Korean. Within minutes, there was a knock at the door. 3 men entered, one of them dragging a 4th person. Keisha stumbled into the penthouse, hands zip-tied behind her back, mascara smudged, wearing last night's party dress. When she saw Amara, her eyes went wide with panic. "Amara, oh my God, are you okay? These men grabbed me off the street." "Cut the act," Ji-hoon said coldly. He played the security footage on the large screen TV. Keisha went pale, her eyes darting between the screen and Amara. "I can explain." "Then explain," Ji-hoon said, voice like a blade. Keisha's face crumpled. Tears started flowing. They paid me. They paid me $50,000. I didn't know it would go this far. I swear, Amara, I didn't know." "Who paid you?" Amara's voice was hollow. "Dead." "She did," Keisha sobbed. "Patricia, your mother-in-law. She approached me 3 months before that night. Said she wanted to prove you were a gold digger, that you only married Marcus for his money. She wanted evidence that you'd cheat if given the opportunity." Amara felt like she was drowning. "So you drugged me? Put me in a stranger's bed?" "They told me nothing would happen," Keisha cried. They said they just needed photos of you in a compromising position. That's all. Just photos to show Marcus you weren't loyal. I put you in that room, took some photos of you on the bed, and left. I swear I thought that was the end of it. Ji-hoon's voice cut through like ice. But someone else came into the room after you left. Keisha nodded miserably. I didn't know that would happen. I swear. Patricia said she'd handle the rest. When you woke up still in your uniform, I thought maybe nothing had happened. Maybe they'd just used the photos. But then months later, when you told me you were pregnant, Patricia called me again. She told me to stay quiet. Said if I talked, she'd make sure I went to prison for drugging you. Amara stood slowly, walked over to her former best friend, and looked her in the eyes. You destroyed my life for $50,000. I'm sorry, Keisha sobbed. I'm so sorry, Amara. I didn't know. Get her out of my sight, Amara said quietly. Ji-hoon nodded to his men. They dragged Keisha out, her sobs echoing down the hallway. When the door closed, Amara stood in the center of the massive living room, arms wrapped around herself, silent tears streaming down her face. Patricia planned this, she whispered. She's hated me since the day Marcus brought me home. She called me every name you can imagine. Gold digger, ghetto, trash. She said I wasn't good enough for her son, but I never thought she'd... She conspired to drug you, frame you for infidelity, and destroy your marriage, Ji-hoon finished, and she almost succeeded. She did succeed, Amara said bitterly. Marcus threw me out. Everyone thinks I'm a cheater. My baby is being called a bastard before it's even born. Ji-hoon walked to her slowly, stopping just close enough that she could feel his presence. Then we make them pay. Amara looked up at him through her tears. How? The same way they destroyed you, he said quietly. Publicly, completely. We expose every lie, every manipulation. We destroy their credibility, their reputation, their peace. I'm not like you, Amara said. I'm not powerful. I can't fight them. You don't have to, Ji-hoon said. I'll fight them for you. Why? She asked again, the question that kept circling in her mind. Why do you care so much? Ji-hoon was quiet for a long moment, his dark eyes searching her face. Because 6 months ago, someone used you as a pawn to manipulate me, and I don't forgive people who touch what's mine. I'm not... That baby might be mine, he said again, his voice softer this time. And even if it's not, you were put in my room, in my bed, used as a tool in someone else's game. That makes you my responsibility. He reached out slowly, giving her time to pull away. When she didn't, he gently wiped a tear from her cheek with his thumb. No one hurts you again, he said quietly. Not while I'm breathing. Amara's breath caught at the intensity in his eyes. This dangerous, powerful man who had appeared in her life like a guardian angel wrapped in darkness. Okay, she whispered. Help me find the truth. Help me clear my name. I will, Ji-hoon promised. Starting now. That afternoon, Ji-hoon took Amara to a private medical facility on the Upper East Side. They performed a DNA test, a real one, overseen by doctors Ji-hoon personally trusted. Results in 48 hours, the doctor said. 2 days. In 2 days, Amara would know if the man standing beside her, this dangerous stranger, was her baby's father. When they left the clinic, a black car was waiting, but instead of taking her back to the penthouse, Ji-hoon gave the driver different instructions. Where are we going? Amara asked. Shopping, Ji-hoon said simply. I don't need... You need maternity clothes that actually fit. You need a proper winter coat. You need things for the baby. He looked at her seriously. And you need to stop thinking like someone who has to survive on scraps. You're under my protection now. That means you want for nothing. Amara opened her mouth to argue, then closed it. She was so tired of struggling, so tired of making every dollar stretch, so tired of being treated like she was worth nothing. Okay, she said quietly. They went to stores Amara had only ever walked past, never dreaming she could afford to enter. Ji-hoon guided her through boutiques with gentle hands on her lower back, never pushy, always letting her choose what she liked. Maternity dresses that made her feel beautiful instead of frumpy, a cashmere coat that felt like wearing a cloud, soft pajamas, comfortable shoes, and then the baby stores. Amara stood in front of a display of tiny clothes, her hand on her belly, tears slipping down her cheeks again. "What's wrong?" Ji-hoon asked immediately. "I was supposed to do this with Marcus," she whispered. "We were supposed to pick out baby clothes together, set up a nursery, choose names." Ji-hoon was quiet for a moment. Then he picked up a soft yellow onesie with tiny ducks on it. "Do you like this one?" Amara looked at him, this dangerous Mafia boss holding baby clothes like they were made of glass. "Yeah," she said softly, "I do." "Then we're getting it." They filled bags with baby clothes, blankets, toys. Everything Amara pointed to, Ji-hoon bought without even looking at price tags. When they finally returned to the penthouse, Amara felt like she was living someone else's life. "Thank you," she said as they set down the bags, "for everything. I don't know how I'll ever repay you." "I don't want repayment," Ji-hoon said. "I want the truth, and I want the people who did this to face consequences." His phone buzzed. He looked at the screen and his expression darkened immediately. "What is it?" Amara asked. He turned the phone toward her. It was a social media post from Marcus's sister, Shanice, the video from Christmas Eve, now with over 500,000 views. The comments were vicious. "Disgusting cheater. Poor husband raising another man's kid. She looks exactly like the type. Black women stay cheating. Gold-digging whore got what she deserved." Amara's hands started shaking. "They posted it. They put me on the internet for everyone to see. And now," Ji-hoon said calmly, "we destroy them." He made one phone call. Within 30 minutes, the Williams family's world began to collapse. First, it was Marcus's job. His boss called, furious. Someone had leaked emails showing Marcus had been falsifying expense reports, stealing from the company for over a year. He was fired on the spot, threatened with criminal charges. Then Patricia's church, her pride and joy where she sat in the front pew every Sunday, received an anonymous donation of documents showing she'd been embezzling from the charity fund. The pastor called an emergency meeting. Shanice's social media accounts were hacked. Every cruel post, every racist comment, every mean-spirited message she'd ever sent was suddenly public. Her employer saw them and terminated her immediately. By nightfall, the Williams family was in free fall. Marcus called Amara 17 times. She didn't answer. On the 18th call, Ji-hoon answered for her, putting it on speaker. "Who the hell is this?" Marcus demanded. "Where's Amara?" "She's safe," Ji-hoon said calmly, "which is more than you can say for yourself." "What are you talking about? What did you do to my family?" "Your family," Ji-hoon said, voice turning to ice. "Destroyed an innocent woman because of lies and prejudice. Now you're facing the consequences. You don't know what you're talking about. I know your mother paid someone to drug your wife and frame her for infidelity. I know the DNA test you received was falsified. And I know that in 48 hours, we'll have proof that Amara never cheated on you." Silence on the other end of the line. "That's impossible," Marcus said, but his voice wavered. "You threw out a woman who loved you, who worked herself to exhaustion to make you happy, who never did anything but try to be a good wife," Ji-hoon continued. "And when she needed you most, you called her baby a bastard and threw her into the street on Christmas Eve. If the test was wrong, if she really didn't cheat, then you destroyed your family for nothing," Ji-hoon said, "and you'll spend the rest of your life knowing it." He ended the call. Amara sat in silence, processing everything. "What if the DNA test shows you're not the father?" she asked quietly. "What if somehow the baby really is Marcus's?" Ji-hoon looked at her seriously. "Then we'll prove his mother falsified the results, clear your name, and you can decide what you want to do. Stay with him, leave him, whatever you choose, but either way you'll have the truth." And if the baby is yours? His dark eyes held hers. Then you and that child will want for nothing. Ever. I'll protect you both with everything I have. You don't even know me, Amara whispered. Then I'll get to know you, Ji-hoon said simply. 2 days later, the DNA results arrived. Amara sat on Ji-hoon's sofa, hands trembling as the doctor opened the sealed envelope. Ji-hoon sat beside her, close enough that she could feel his presence, solid and steady. The results are conclusive, Dr. Kim said gently. Mr. Kang, you are the biological father, 99.9% certainty. The room went silent. Amara pressed both hands to her mouth, tears streaming. Oh my God! Ji-hoon released a breath he'd been holding, his hand moving to cover hers. You're sure? He asked the doctor. Absolutely certain. When the doctor left, Amara and Ji-hoon sat in silence, the weight of the truth settling over them. I'm so sorry, Amara finally said. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. Stop, Ji-hoon said firmly. This isn't your fault. Someone drugged you. Someone put you in my room. You're a victim in this, Amara, not a perpetrator. But now you're stuck with... I'm not stuck with anything, he interrupted, turning to face her fully. I'm gaining something. A child, a family. You don't want a family, Amara said. Look at your life. Look at what you do. You can't bring a baby into that world. I'll change my world, Ji-hoon said simply. I'll make it safe, whatever it takes. Amara looked at him, really looked at him, this dangerous, powerful man who had appeared in her life like a storm. I don't love you, she said honestly. I don't even really know you. I know, Ji-hoon said, and I'm not asking you to. I'm asking you to let me protect you. Let me provide for our child. Let me prove that I'm nothing like the man who threw you away. What does that mean for us? Amara asked. What are we? Whatever you want us to be, Ji-hoon said. We'll figure it out, together. Before Amara could respond, Ji-hoon's phone rang. He answered it, his expression darkening with every word. What is it? Amara asked when he hung up. My men found something, he said grimly. Patricia didn't act alone. Someone else orchestrated this entire thing. Someone who wanted to destroy both of us. Who? Min-seo, Ji-hoon said, his voice turning deadly. My right-hand man. He's been working against me for months, trying to take over my organization. He knew about the hotel that night. He arranged for you to be drugged and placed in my room. He helped Patricia falsify the DNA test. He thought if he could create enough chaos in my personal life, I'd be distracted enough that he could stage a coup. Amara's blood ran cold. Where is he now? My men have him, Ji-hoon said, and he's going to tell us everything, every detail, every person involved. He stood, reaching for his coat. Where are you going? Amara asked. To get answers, Ji-hoon said. Stay here, you're safe. I'll be back soon. Ji-hoon, he turned back. Be careful, Amara said softly. Something flickered in his eyes. Surprise, maybe, or something warmer. I will. Ji-hoon walked into the warehouse where Min-seo was being held. His former right-hand man was tied to a chair, face already bloody, breathing hard. Hyung-nim, Min-seo gasped. Please, tell me everything, Ji-hoon said calmly. Every detail of what you did. Start with why. Min-seo's face twisted with bitterness. You had everything. Power, money, respect. And you didn't even care. You treated this empire like it was boring, like it was beneath you. So you tried to take it from me. I tried to destroy you first, Min-seo spat. I thought if I could create scandal, chaos, make you look weak, your enemies would rise up and I could step in, take control. Patricia came to me first, wanting help destroying her daughter-in-law. I saw an opportunity. The hotel, the drugged woman, the photos. I arranged all of it. You destroyed an innocent woman's life, Ji-hoon said, voice dropping to something dangerous. She was nobody, Min-seo said dismissively. A janitor. She didn't matter. Ji-hoon moved so fast Min-seo didn't see it coming. One moment he was standing 5 feet away. The next his hand was around Min-seo's throat, squeezing. She matters, Ji-hoon said quietly. She matters more than you can possibly imagine. She's carrying my child, and you tried to destroy her. Min-seo's eyes widened. No, that wasn't supposed to. What wasn't supposed to happen? You weren't supposed to touch her, Min-seo choked out. She was just supposed to be there for photos. You weren't supposed to actually. Ji-hoon released him abruptly. I didn't touch her that night. I gave her water and left the room. When I came back, she was gone. Min-seo stared at him in confusion. Then how? The truth hit Ji-hoon like a freight train. Someone else had come into that room after he left. Someone else had touched Amara while she was drugged and helpless. Who else had access to my suite that night? Ji-hoon demanded. Min-seo's face went pale. No one, I swear, only me and... He stopped, eyes widening in horror. No, it can't be. Who? Your cousin, Min-seo whispered. Kang Jun-woo. He was in the hotel that night. He asked me for a copy of your suite key card. Said he wanted to drop off a gift for you. I didn't think anything of it. Ji-hoon went very still. Jun-woo. His cousin. The one family member he still trusted. The one who had grown up beside him, trained beside him, sworn loyalty. He wouldn't, Ji-hoon said. But even as the words left his mouth, pieces were falling into place. Jun-woo had been pushing for more control lately, had been questioning Ji-hoon's decisions, had been gathering allies. He's planning something, Min-seo said quickly, desperately. I don't know what, but he's been meeting with your enemies, making deals. Hyung-nim, he's going to move against you. Ji-hoon pulled out his phone and called his most trusted security team. Get to the penthouse. Now full lockdown. No one in or out except me. He turned back to Min-seo. If anything happens to her, you won't live long enough to regret it. Then he ran. Amara was sitting on the sofa, looking through baby name books Ji-hoon had bought, when she heard the lock on the penthouse door click. She looked up, smiling. That was fast. Did you... But the man who walked in wasn't Ji-hoon. He was similar. Same height, same sharp features, but younger with a crueler smile. Hello, Amara, Kang Jun-woo said. We haven't been properly introduced. I'm Ji-hoon's cousin. Amara stood slowly, instinct screaming danger. He didn't tell me anyone else was coming. That's because he doesn't know I'm here, Jun-woo said, closing the door behind him. But don't worry, we're just going to have a little chat. He pulled out a gun and set it casually on the table. Amara's blood turned to ice. What do you want? I want what's mine, Jun-woo said. This empire, this power, everything my cousin has taken for granted his entire life. And you, sweet Amara, are going to help me get it. I don't understand. 6 months ago, I saw an opportunity, Jun-woo said, circling her slowly. A woman drugged and placed in my cousin's bed. Too good to waste on just photos. So I made sure something actually happened, made sure there would be consequences. Amara's legs nearly gave out. I raped you while you were unconscious, Jun-woo said casually, like he was discussing the weather. And then I made sure that baby would destroy everything. Your marriage, Ji-hoon's focus, all of it. Rage unlike anything Amara had ever felt flooded through her. You monster! I'm a strategist, Jun-woo corrected. And now you're going to do exactly what I say, or I'll make sure that baby never takes its first breath. Amara's hands moved protectively to her belly. You won't touch my child. Our child, Jun-woo said with a cruel smile. Biologically speaking. Though the DNA test says otherwise, doesn't it? Funny how easy it is to bribe a lab technician. The penthouse door exploded inward. Ji-hoon stood in the doorway, chest heaving, eyes blazing with fury that made Amara's breath catch. Get away from her, Ji-hoon said, voice deadly calm. Jun-woo grabbed the gun, but Ji-hoon was faster. He crossed the room in 3 strides, disarming his cousin with brutal efficiency and slamming him against the wall. You touched her, Ji-hoon said quietly, each word dripping with violence. You violated her. You tried to use my child as a weapon. Your child? Jun-woo laughed bitterly, even with Ji-hoon's hand around his throat. The lab says it's yours, but we both know the truth. I was in that room. I was the one who... Ji-hoon's fist connected with Jun-woo's face with a sickening crunch. "Guards!" Ji-hoon shouted. His security team flooded into the penthouse, immediately subduing Jun-woo. Ji-hoon turned to Amara, crossing to her quickly. "Are you hurt? Did he touch you?" "I'm okay," Amara said, but she was shaking violently. He said he was the one who... "I know," Ji-hoon said gently, pulling her into his arms. "I know, and he's going to pay for it. I promise you." Amara buried her face in his chest, letting herself break down. If he's the father, if the test was wrong... "The test wasn't wrong," Ji-hoon said firmly. "That baby is mine. I don't care what he claims. The science proves it. You're safe. The baby is safe. And he will never touch either of you again." "How can you be sure?" Amara whispered. "Because," Ji-hoon said quietly, pulling back to look at her, "I'm going to make sure he disappears. Permanently." Amara should have been horrified, should have been afraid of this man who spoke so casually about making people disappear, but all she felt was safe. "Okay," she whispered. 3 days later, Amara stood in front of Marcus's apartment building. Ji-hoon waited in the car, giving her space but close enough to protect her if needed. She'd asked for this meeting. Needed closure. Marcus opened the door, looking like he hadn't slept in days. His eyes were red-rimmed, face haggard. "Amara," he breathed. "I'm not here to get back together," she said immediately. "I'm here to tell you the truth." She showed him everything. The real security footage, the evidence of his mother's conspiracy, the proof that she had been drugged and violated while unconscious. "The DNA test you received was falsified," Amara said. "Your mother paid to have it changed. The baby I'm carrying isn't yours, but not because I cheated, because I was assaulted while drugged, and you threw me out without even listening." Marcus sank onto his couch, head in his hands. "Oh God, Amara, I'm so sorry. I didn't know." "You didn't want to know," Amara said. "You saw a reason to believe the worst about me, and you took it. Your mother gave you permission to treat me like garbage, and you did. Please," Marcus said, looking up with tears in his eyes. "Please let me make this right. I'll do anything. We can start over." "No," Amara said firmly. "We can't. You showed me who you are when things get hard. You chose your family's prejudice over your wife, over your vows, and I deserve better than that." "The baby isn't yours," Amara said, "biologically or otherwise. You called my child a bastard before it was even born. You don't get to be a father now." Marcus started crying in earnest. "I love you. I made a mistake." "You made a choice," Amara corrected, "and now you have to live with it." She turned to leave, then paused at the door. "Your mother is being charged with conspiracy to commit assault and fraud. She's probably going to prison. Your sister's life is in ruins because of her own cruelty, and you've lost everything because you were too weak to stand up for your wife." She walked out, head held high, and didn't look back. Ji-hoon was waiting by the car. He opened the door for her. "How do you feel?" he asked. "Free," Amara said simply. 3 months later, Amara stood in the nursery Ji-hoon had created in the penthouse. Soft yellow walls the color of sunshine, a crib with hand-carved details, shelves full of books and toys. She was 8 months pregnant now, glowing and healthy. Ji-hoon had made sure she wanted for nothing, the best doctors, the best food, whatever made her comfortable. They weren't in love, not yet, but they were becoming something else. Partners, friends. 2 people bound together by circumstances, learning each other slowly. Ji-hoon walked in carrying shopping bags. "I found the mobile you wanted, the one with the moons and stars." "Thank you," Amara said, smiling. He'd been like this for months, attentive, protective, gentle. Nothing like the dangerous man she'd first met. "Have you thought about names?" he asked, hanging the mobile over the crib. "I have a few ideas," Amara said, "but I wanted to ask you first. What names do you like?" Ji-hoon was quiet for a moment, studying the mobile. "In my culture, We often name children after qualities we hope they'll have: strength, wisdom, joy. Joy, Amara repeated softly. I like that. Yeah? Ji-hoon turned to look at her. Yeah, Amara said. After everything that happened, I think we could use some joy. Ji-hoon crossed the room to her, stopping just close enough that she could feel his warmth. You've changed my life, Amara. You and this baby. I didn't know I could feel this way about anything. What way? Amara asked softly. Protective. Hopeful. Like I have something worth building a future for. Amara's heart squeezed. You're a good man, Ji-hoon. Better than you think you are. I'm trying to be, he said. For you. For our child. He reached out slowly, giving her time to pull away. When she didn't, he gently placed his hand over hers on her belly. The baby kicked immediately, as if responding to his touch. Both of them laughed, the sound light and real. Strong, Ji-hoon said, just like the mother. And stubborn like the father, Amara added with a smile. They stood like that, hands intertwined over the life they'd created, in a nursery filled with hope. Outside, snow began to fall again, but this time, it felt like magic instead of misery. But somewhere across the city, in the shadows of a darkened apartment, a figure watched surveillance footage of the penthouse. Patricia Williams sat in her prison-issued orange jumpsuit during a supervised visit, whispering into a phone. She thinks she's won, Patricia said coldly. She thinks she's safe. On the other end of the line, a distorted voice responded. Then it's time to remind her that some grudges don't die. Patricia smiled, cruel and cold. Make sure she suffers. Make sure that baby never gets to have the life she stole from my son. The line went dead, and in the penthouse, while Amara laughed with Ji-hoon, neither of them noticed the tiny red light of a laser scope that briefly painted across the nursery window before disappearing into the darkness. Part 2 will be coming out soon. Stay tuned to Arura Love Saga, and don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and turn on the notification button for Part 2. Drop a heart emoji in the comments if you're rooting for Amara and Ji-hoon. Who do you think is really behind Patricia's plan now? Comment below.